Okay, what we're going to talk about today is Chapter 13 bankruptcy. We're going to talk about if you filed it and how it affects you in keeping your home. Okay, so first of all, what I do is, let's say I come to your door, and when I say I, it could be anyone who works for the company, right? If I come to your door and I knock on it, normally what happens is you say to me, I got it covered, and you want to shut the door. So what this video is designed to do is give you a look into who we are, so you can understand that we know what you're doing and that you may not have it covered, right? And so oftentimes when I go to a door and knock, someone will say to me, I don't know who this guy is, I don't know if he's trustworthy, or this gal is, I don't know if she's trustworthy. And at the end of the day, what this video is designed to do is to teach you that we do know what we're doing, and we have several ways to help you. So number one is, if you have filed a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and by the way, as a disclosure, I'm not an attorney. Everything I'm going to talk to you about today is what my attorneys have told me about situations I've seen or been in, and it also has to do with what I believe, and it's my opinion. You should seek legal advice, and we do have attorneys that work around us all the time to give you this information and data, or you can go talk to your own attorney. With that said, basically on a Chapter 13, as long as you file that Chapter 13 before the time your property went to sell, you're good from stopping your house from going to foreclosure sale. Now, we have had clients who have come in and said, or the attorneys have had clients that we work with who have come in and said, I filed the Chapter 13 at 11:53 m in the day, 11:53 p.m. in the daytime, and only to find out that the house went to sell at 11:21. So let's discuss this. If you filed a Chapter 13 1 minute late and the sale has already occurred, so if the sale occurred, it finished up at, and not when it started, when the foreclosure sale finished up and the person bought your house at foreclosure sale. So we're not talking pre-foreclosure. We're talking after you have lost your home, right? In this case, if you filed your, if the trustee or the crier at the sale went to the foreclosure sale and bid on, or if a trustee sold your property at foreclosure sale and they started with an opening bid of $100,000 at 10:22 a.m. and they ended up at 10:27 a.m. saying sold, the sold time is the deadline time of when you have to file that bankruptcy. So if you filed that bankruptcy at 10:25 a.m. in the middle of when they were crying the sale and they didn't say sold, and you filed BK at 10:25 and that sale happened at 10:27, you're safe. On the other hand, if you filed at 10:28 and the sale stopped at 10:27 and sold, you're a minute too late. Okay, so anything after the time the sale happened, your bankruptcy will not have the same effects as it otherwise would had you filed before. Now, one of the things we do is we hear clients all the time. I can tell you as an example, I had 2 people that I got reports in that this month they lost their house to foreclosure sale. This is not pre-foreclosure, this is post-foreclosure. You have lost your home, right? And they came to someone who worked for the company, and they said, listen, I filed my bankruptcy at 11:27, but the sale occurred at 10:21 p.m. They're in trouble. I had another story recently that came out where they actually went in and paid the loan current, and they got on the phone and started talking with the bank at 9 o'clock, and their sale happened at 11:38 p.m. They paid the bank at 11:38 p.m. but the sale finished at 11:27 p.m. So there was only an 11-minute difference between when they tendered their money to the bank and stopped that sale, and whether that property went to foreclosure sale and they lost that property, right? Okay, so it's very critical that everyone understands in this video that I'm not talking pre-foreclosure. I'm not talking prior to the sale. I'm not talking about bidding or approaching the door prior to the sale. I'm actually talking to you about after the foreclosure sale and that you lost your home to foreclosure sale, right? And I'm going to be speaking about things that can be done, not necessarily by me or what I might do, but what an attorney may do or someone else may do after that foreclosure sale has occurred, right? And so one of the things we hear is that you filed a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, or you filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, or you filed a Chapter 11 bankruptcy if it was an LLC and it was a business that you filed on. Okay, if you believe that you filed the bankruptcy properly and you did it prior to the sale when they cried it, you're safe. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that that was your best option. It simply means you're safe from losing your home now. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you guys about the things that you can learn, and actually this part I'm talking about right now. So what we're going to talk, so let me give you the front part here. We're going to talk about a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and then not only are we going to talk about a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, at the end of the video I'm going to tell you some better remedies than a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. So you're going to want to stay through this entire video to be able to get to that nugget of what your better options are. So for Prince, or if you're editing this video right now, that segment needs to be pulled out and moved to the front of the video, right? And then it gives the ability for people to wait to the video at the end. So now I'm going to go back into the discussions. So in this particular case, if you filed a Chapter 13 or a 7 or 11 and you did it prior to the crier saying sold, you're safe. They cannot take your home from you. That's the critical thing. All right? If you filed bankruptcy after they said that, then you're in trouble. Okay? And so it's really important that you understand the critical timing of what happens. Now, a lot of times when I go to the door, or someone like me goes to your door is a better way to say that, right? And they come in and they say, hey, listen, we can help you. We have options. You say, I've already got it covered. I'm good. And you think in your mind that we don't know what's going on, right? Well, I've worked in the industry for 37 plus years. I've done 300 short sales and modifications. I've worked in all parts of the foreclosure spectrum. At this point, I'm not talking about anything that happened before foreclosure sale. This is after you've lost your home to foreclosure sale, right? And so in that particular case, what we have to look at is what are the things we can do to help a homeowner who's filed bankruptcy. Now, that's the critical part of this thing is how do we help you if you filed a bankruptcy and you were successful and it was done timely. The other thing we're going to talk about is how we can help you if you did not file a bankruptcy on time or you did not make that payment to the bank on time, and what are the things that we can do for you there, right? That's the critical part of this thing, okay? And so the first part of it is if you filed your bankruptcy on time and you now kept your home, you're under the protection of the bankruptcy court. And what that means is that there now is a stay on everything on your financial affairs. In fact, when you file that bankruptcy, you basically hand over your assets to a trustee. You hand over your assets to a trustee, and that trustee now is the one who's going to decide what happens with your house. Okay? Now, and most of you don't understand that because what happened is, in most cases, is someone just comes in and says, file a bankruptcy to stop the sale of your home. But you don't know the process that happens after that. Number one, if you file a bankruptcy, a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, that's probably one of the worst things you can do. That's one of the worst things you can do. And the reason why is because you filed that bankruptcy to stop that foreclosure sale, but now you have a bankruptcy on your record. And because you have a bankruptcy on your record, it can affect you for the next 7 years, right? And so we need to break this down and see what it is that it does that is good for you or bad for you. Oftentimes, there's a better remedy for that. Instead of filing a bankruptcy, if you can get someone that can lend you money to pull that loan current, or you sell your house to them with the perspective of being able to buy your house back at a later time. Those are methods that other people or competitors might use, or even someone within the group that works in other areas of the company, right? And those are discussions that can happen. Those are much better moves, by the way, that they help you, that they can help you with those moves, right? But in this case, I'm talking to you about after you've lost your house to foreclosure sale. So in this particular case, if you did not file your bankruptcy on time, or you didn't file a bankruptcy at all, and now you've lost your house to foreclosure sale, that's where we can help you. I've had people say to me, well, I've come in and I've lost my home now. What other options do I have? Okay, and we offer 4 services that we can do for you. Number 1 is we do property recovery. So number 1 is we go in and we say, your real property or your house, there is a chance that that foreclosure was wrongful, right? And so what we can do is we can have the attorneys go in and look at that, the documents that were filed and the case that was filed, and we can come in and see if potentially they did a wrongful foreclosure. And if they did, then we can have the bank sue, the attorney sue the bank. And when the attorneys sue the bank, we can undo that foreclosure sale completely because they did what's called a wrongful foreclosure. A lot of times this centers on a notice, right? Whether they noticed you properly every time. And what most people say is, I never got noticed. Well, normally you did, you just don't remember because they did it a long time ago, or it was something you didn't want to remember. But number 1 is, if you didn't file a bankruptcy on time, or you didn't make that payment on time, there are things we can do to help you. We can file for a wrongful foreclosure, right? We can negotiate something with the bank. We can negotiate something with the bidder to get you that house back, or to get you to stay in that house via renting it, or there's many strategies there, right? So from that perspective, don't think all is lost. The other thing is, when we sue the banks, we can go get money from them for damages, or we can get money from them via surplus or excess funds. There's a lot of times there is a way to extract money out of the foreclosure process. Okay, and so we can help you get money or get your house back. Okay, the other thing we have is bidders who do things that are illegal strategically wise, and because they don't follow the law. So as an example, a homeowner can own a property and then lose it to foreclosure sale, and the bidder goes in and comes in and takes it over, and the bidder might not follow the proper eviction laws. Right? And so there are numerous strategies to help you be protected with what the law allows, so that bidder does not take advantage of you. Okay, the 4th thing we can do is we can do insurance recovery. A lot of times what happens is if you had a hailstorm or a freeze in your area and you weren't making the payment on your home, you may not have executed on that insurance policy. So we can go in and help you get money for the repair of the roof, or for the ability to, we can go in and help you get money for the repair of the roof, or if there was a flood inside your home. Okay, so these are the 4 services we offer you, which are real property recovery, i.e. wrongful foreclosure, personal property recovery. Someone comes in and steals the furniture or the property you have at the house because you weren't home and they took control of it, right? And the 3rd one is some type of money recovery, be a lawsuit or through getting money through the various sources of surplus or excess funds. And the 4th one is insurance recovery. Okay, so that's the focus. That's where we go with it. If you need our help, pick up the phone and call us. We have many strategies. We have investors who are willing to fund your deal. In other words, that you won't pay any of the attorney fees. They'll pay them all because they can see a way to make money through lending money to help you, right? So we have investors that are involved that can help you. We have attorneys with numerous legal strategies to help you. And we have and we have strategies that we've developed over time that help you. Remember where my background comes from is I used to be an auction buyer and bidder. I don't bid at the foreclosure sales any longer because of the federal injunction and the case where they sued me and I lost. One thing that's really cool about our company is I'm constantly suing and being sued. That case is currently in appeal, right? I have an appeal record where out of the 5 appeals I've done, I won 3 out of 5, so I have a 60% conversion ratio on appeal. Why is that the case? Because I know the laws. My attorneys have taught me the laws, and we comply with the law, and our goal is to follow the law. So if we lose a case, the odds are it's going to be overturned on appeal because the judges or the jury didn't understand the laws. Okay? The thing you get with our companies is you get the experience of people who are constantly suing and being sued. I'm a tiger, and I will fight for you if you've lost your home. Thanks, guys. Give us a call. Bye-bye. Did that sound okay? Did you listen at all to it?
Yes.
Anything I could do better or worse or?
Not that I'm aware of. Do you want it paused or?
No, that's okay. Okay, so Prince, I've given you several segments on this, so you can do a bankruptcy segment, right? And then you can tell them the answer to the bankruptcy at the end. I did a segment on losing your house via non-payment. So let's do a full segment on that. Okay. Hey guys, today we're going to talk about what if you lost your house to foreclosure sale and you communicated with the bank and you made a payment or there was discussion of a payment, right? So we're in the business of property recovery. We're in the business of being sued and suing. So today what we're going to talk about is if you missed a payment on your home and you've lost it to foreclosure sale and you don't know what to do now, right? Or if the bank was working with you on a modification and you got a modification or you were working on a short sale and all of a sudden the bank took your house to foreclosure sale. That's the topic I'm going to talk about now, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go and discuss what can happen, and at the end I'm going to give you some of the strategies or ways or means whereby we can help you get your home back or help you to get money or other possible strategies that will help you end up on the top side instead of on the downside. So basically, let's get into the discussion here. Okay, I went to a homeowner the other day that I talked to, and his story to me was he lost his house at foreclosure sale. He was done, it was over. And when I talked to this individual, I found out that he and the bank had communicated via an email, and on the day of the foreclosure sale, the bank had come and said to him, listen, we need to get all your documents so that we can work on this modification. Okay, guy loses to house to foreclosure sale. The bidders now won it and bought it and it's closed, let's say, as an example. And now this guy tells me that the bank actually told him that they would gather his data for him at the very instant that they took it to foreclosure sale. Okay, guys, this is a case that can be won in the courts. If we go to a judge and a jury and we say, listen, they lost their house to foreclosure sale and the bank told them that they could send in the data, the documents to stop the sale, then that's a case that's a wrongful foreclosure case. And that's where our attorneys can help you, and we can help you, and the companies that we work with can help you to maybe overturn that foreclosure sale, right? And so a lot of times we have people that have discussions about that. The banks will also come in and say, we think we might be able to help you. We're going to go down that process. But they also may do disclosures where they tell you, listen, there's no guarantee until you get it done. And a lot of times that's what the banks do. So you're thinking they're going to help you and stop the sale, and then they're not. You're going to end up losing your house to sell because they took it to sell anyways. Okay, so these conversations that you had with the bank pre-foreclosure really make a difference. So if you're listening to this video and you say to me when I knock on your door, I meaning someone that's out there that works with the companies, and they say, hey, listen, I can help you because you lost your house to foreclosure sale, your response to them is listen to them. After you're done with this video, pick up the phone and call those people back. We have answers. When you tell us that you got it covered or handled, the odds are you don't, and we know how to help you. So what you need to do is document all those discussions that you have. Write it down, save the emails, and then what we're going to do is get in and look to see if there was a wrongful foreclosure action. We're also going to look at how that bank did things with you and if they really came in and took advantage of you or did something wrong. So that's that side of it, right? What are the angles that we can find to undo that foreclosure sale because you've now lost the home, right? On the other side of this, it may be that you were making a payment. And so, when you picked up a phone, we had a client the other day that came into us and he picked up the phone and called us, right? So someone out there went and talked to this guy and I heard this story. And basically what happened is they paid that payment 11 minutes after the sale occurred. But what we later learned about their story is that these guys, it was basically the Christmas holiday, right? So the 27th, 28th, we now know that New Year's was on the 31st to the 1st. The 31st was a Sunday, Monday was the 1st, and Tuesday was the foreclosure sale, right? They couldn't get a hold of anyone at the bank. The bank sent them a letter and said, we can't help you on the 28th. That gave them 3 days to try to stop their sale when they didn't even get notice in time, and when they did, it was right before everyone closed up for the holidays, right? Well, these people went to the county building, started talking to everyone. Eventually, they got a hold of the bank on their call, and when they were talking to the bank, they went over to the bank and they said, we're going to wire the funds to pay it current, right? And so this was a $60,000 plus loan that they were in arrears on. They got someone that lent them money, whether it was a friend or something, and they wanted to pay this loan current, right? And so what ended up happening is they went and got on the phone with the banker. They got his personal line and he said, listen, I'm going to send an email out to the bank and tell them to stop selling your property. Okay, and so they trusted him and they went to the bank and they did the wire and they had to do all of these things to get there, only to find out that this banker did not get the sale stopped, and the trustee went and sold that house, or the attorney did, and they cried that house and sold it, and they found out that 11 minutes later the wire went through. Okay, that's a real classic case, right? That's a case that happened today. Okay, and what we were able to do is come in and help that person sue the bank. Now, unfortunately, the bidder's also going to be sued, and we're going to do everything we can to undo that foreclosure sale, right? So there are ways that we can help you. We are experienced in the business. I've bought hundreds of properties at foreclosure sale. I've done over 300 short sales and modifications. And now I'm now coming to you, or someone like me is coming to you, to knock on your door and give you options, right? To get your home back, to get money, or to get some type of recovery. This is a painful time for you. When you lose your house, you're in lots of pain. And so we have answers for you to help you get the recovery you need. So when I knock on your door, and when I say I mean that individual out there, that when that person knocks on your door and he says, hey, can we take a little bit of your time? You need to pick up the phone and call them back and listen, because we understand bankruptcies. We understand payments of banks. We understand wrongful foreclosures. This is our business. The attorneys know it well. And so there are options for you that you did not realize you had. Okay, so that's the nugget at the end, right? We have ways that we can help you undo this foreclosure sale or get you money through strategies and through excess or surplus funds or other ways, right? And so at the end of the day, there are many strategies that we can use to get you your home back, to put your family back in that home, or to at least get you to stay in the home or to get money out of the home. And so give us a call. We're there to help you. We appreciate your time. We know it's a tough time. Call us now. It's your best option. Thanks. Okay, anything on that one? Okay, today what I'm going to talk to you about is people who go into what I will call depression, emotional trauma. They have things within their family life and they lose their home. Now this is a very sensitive topic, and the reason why is because I have family members who deal with all types of depressions. Okay, I have a family member who's autistic. I have family members who deal with different types of self-insecurity or depression. If you have lost your home and you are one of these people where you do not feel like the world is on your side anymore, we're here to help you. Okay? What I can tell you is that I have had clients that they've lost their home to foreclosure sale, and someone from the company comes and knocks on their door, and you may not even answer your door. You may be watching this video because you got a text or an email. Okay? It's really important that you understand that we understand the position you're in. And I have seen people that have completely shut down. I saw a woman who lost her house to foreclosure sale. The bidder got the deed, and this sale can actually be undone, and we can get her home back. But because her mother and father died in that home, because her mother and father died in that home, and her brother, she never wants to go back there. And she has depression because of it, right? And this is not any particular person. This is you I'm talking about here, right? So I'm using an example through a woman. Example, it could be a man, it could be anyone. I talked to an individual the other day where the husband just completely shut down because he lost everything. If this is you, and you're struggling and you want to bury your hand in the sand and do nothing, we can help you. Look at me when I say that. We can help you. We have methods and ways to get you through your trauma. If you keep your head buried in the sand, that's absolutely the worst thing you can do. Because we can't get you your home back or try to get you your home back. We can't get you money so you can move on. We have staff members that will literally help you move everything out of your house, sort through it, get your financial affairs in the proper condition, and get you to a new home in a better place. Remember, I've been on the side where I was a bidder. I've been in all sides. I've done over 300 short sales and modification and worked people out of their problems. I've been a bidder, and I bought properties that people lost in foreclosure sale. I've been in eviction suits where I've sued to get someone out of the home. I've been in eviction suits where I've sued to get someone in a home and keep them in the home. Okay? I have been down this path from all sides. I'm now on your side. The company and the people, when I say I, the company and the people, are there to help you when you've lost your house to foreclosure sale. You have options, and depression isn't going to help you. So pick up the phone and call us, text us, and let us take this burden off of you and help you. Everything we do must be in compliance with the law. We have attorneys all around us who are making sure that what they do for you is right. We recommend that you can also hire an attorney that represents you. We will provide you with an attorney that can give you, or a list of attorneys that can give you counsel independent of us, so that you can have attorney-client privilege. We have people there that are willing to support you to get you to the next phase of your life. I personally have lost tens of millions of dollars. I have a wife and 10 children. I lost everything in Las Vegas when the market collapsed. I've been through short sales, modification, bankruptcies, debt negotiation and restructuring, depression, divorces, sickness, health, death. All of these things we have done, we have dealt with it. So if you are feeling depressed, you're feeling like you're going to stick your head in the ground and tell everyone to go away, that's the worst thing you can possibly do. We can help. Thanks. Give us a call. Thanks. That sound okay?
Yeah.
Any questions on any of that? Okay. This segment that I'm going to be talking to you today is one that we see that's very common after you've lost your home in foreclosure sale. A majority of the people out there do not know what to do when your relative has died. First of all, my condolences to you if you've lost your spouse or your loved one or your children or your brother. Okay, this is very common for people to get into a situation where you have lost your house to foreclosure sale, okay, because you did not know what to do with the estate and probate and the attorneys and all the advice that they give you, okay. And so what this video today is going to talk about is what happens when there's a death in the family and that person happens to be someone who owns the house and you're the heir to that asset and you don't know how to get a hold of the bank or to do what the bank is trying to tell you to do so that you can save that home. It's amazing to me how many people lose their house to foreclosure sale because they did not know how to manage the estate properly or open a probate. What I'm going to talk to you guys about today is my opinion of what to do. It's what I've seen attorneys do. I'm not here to give you legal advice. What I'm here to do is to tell you what I've seen and my opinion of what you should do, but you should seek advice of counsel. I am not an attorney, so what I'm doing is giving you my opinion of what to do that's best, right? So in this particular case, if you've lost someone to death and they've passed away and you're now in a position where you have lost your home to foreclosure sale and you now need remedies, that's how we can help you. Okay, and so what we do is we come in and do the things that it takes to get the estate settled properly. So first of all, what I'm going to do is talk to you about what to do if that's you or someone you know and it's them, and then how to solve your problems at the end. So at the end of the video, I'm going to give you the answers you need or the remedy you need or the help you need to get there. So first of all, let's break down the death of an individual. Okay, we'll start as if you were the son of a parent or a daughter of a parent. So because I'm a man, I'll speak as though it was a son. But as an example, if I'm a son and my parent died and I'm 21 years old, I do not make enough money to continue to make the payment on the house, or I could be 50 years old and I do have the money to make the payment on the house, you need to understand how this all works. So I'm going to speak generally. I'm not going to give you advice, legal advice state per state, but I'm going to tell you generally how this works. Okay, first of all, if I am the son, and let's say I'm 30 years old and I have a child. So I'm the son of the deceased, or my father died, and I'm a son and I'm 30, and then I have a son which would be a grandson to the father, your father who passed away. Okay? First of all, if you're 30 years old and your father passed away at the age of 60, okay, when he dies, normally you have to go to the court and set up a probate. And in order to communicate with the bank, they're going to ask you if you have a death certificate. So you have to provide a death certificate to the bank so that they can see that you're the son of your dad, so that they will allow you to make the payments on that loan. Okay, so that's number one. You pick up the phone, you call the bank, You basically tell them that you're the son and that your dad has passed away. They're going to send you over to the department that handles that type of situation, and they're going to ask you for a death certificate. Okay, so you're going to need to get a death certificate. Once you have that death certificate, you can prove that your father died and that you're the heir to the estate, right? In that particular case, what you're next going to need to do is go down to the county where you reside, and you're going to need to go to what is normally called the Estates Division. And what you're going to do in the Estates Division is you're going to open a probate. Okay? And when you open that probate, you're going to be able to sit down with them, and you're going to give them all the financial information of your parents. You're going to give them of your father. You're going to give them everything that they need and ask for, and then they're going to open up that probate. Once they open up that probate, they can assign you to they can give you the position of what's called an administrator or an executor of the will or the controlling person, whatever term they use, that can control that will. Once you've been appointed to manage that estate, or not the will, but the estate, you are now in an authoritative capacity to now pick up the phone and call the bank as if you were your father, and the bank will need to listen to you because you are now the designated person to manage the affairs of your father's estate. Okay? Now you may need to watch this video several times to get it, but at the end of the day, you need to be appointed as an administrator of the estate so that way you can manage the affairs of the estate. You can go sell everything, you can go buy things in the name of the estate, you can remove money from a bank account and use it for certain things, you can make a payment on a utility bill or on a house bill. It allows you to stand in the stead of the person who's passed away. So it allows you to stand in the stead of the person who's passed away. Okay, now, the other part of that is, how does it all work? Okay, so if your father dies and he has 3 children, let's say it's you and a brother and a sister who are younger than you. So you're 31, your brother's 29, and your sister's 27, right? Age really doesn't matter. So in this case, you got you, your brother, and your sister. Okay, if your father died, and he didn't have a wife in this particular case, then there's a certain way that goes. And the way that normally goes in most states is that everything that your father owned will be evenly distributed between you 3 brothers and sisters. Okay, so each of you will get a third of the estate, and one of you will need to be appointed as the administrator of the estate. Okay, so that's critical to know and understand. If the father had a spouse, and this isn't the case in all states, but if the father had a spouse, there could be a deed that shows that they were joint tenants in common with rights of survivorship. What that basically means is if the father dies and he has a wife, everything goes to the wife with the house, and you as children don't get anything. So the father dies, it goes to the mother. So it depends on how the deed is and if there's rights of survivorship, right? And joint tenancy. And there are other legal terms that the attorneys can use. But if your father dies and he has a spouse and there's joint tenancy with rights of survivorship, that house is going to go fully to the mother, your mother, 100%. Okay? However, if it's not, the deed is not proper in the state to keep it to the wife, then normally something will happen where the wife gets 50% and the children get 50%, and they each get a third of that 50%. Okay? And so what we look at is that's how it goes in a general reasoning if you're dealing with an estate. On the other hand, let's say that one of the 3 children dies at a young age and they have what would be considered the grandchild to the deceased. Well, now what you have is a situation, we'll go back to the 100% example where the father has no wife, he owns the asset 100%, you 3 children each get 33%, but one of the children has died, so you got a brother and a sister who's living and another sister who's died, and she has 2 children. then the two children would get her third of her portion of the 33 1/3%. So they would split that 33 1/3% in half, and it would go to the grandchildren. Okay, now this can get really complex, but at the end of the day, that's generally how it goes. Okay, now there are more complex strategies. If you get into those, please give us a call. We can give you answers on that. Okay, so normally what happens now to give you the ending result is now you've lost your house to foreclosure sale. You didn't know what I just told you, and you didn't have the money to do what I was telling you, and you're now sitting in the home and you need help. Okay, the answer to that is we can help you. And the reason why is because we have attorneys on staff and people who can go help you to set up that probate, because even though you didn't do it when you lost the home, you still got to get it done. So now we can go in and help you set up the probate with the estates, file everything for you, get you appointed as the administrator or the person in control, and then from there you can now sue for that wrongful foreclosure. You can go in, and a lot of times, guys, just so you know, there's some real good nuggets here. If they foreclosed on your father and he died, there is a greater likelihood that there's a wrongful foreclosure there. Because a lot of times the people who foreclose on you do not understand the proper service things they're supposed to do, and there's many things that can happen where we can actually find that that's a wrongful foreclosure. So we can go in, help you open the estate, then because you're now an administrator of that case, you can then sue for wrongful foreclosure as if you were the father. You can go in and get money, right? Or sue the banks to get money, right? Or you can go in and sue for conversion. I've had clients, you can sue for conversion. The definition of conversion is the same thing as theft, although it's a civil term. Okay, and so a lot of times what will happen is someone will die, your father will die, everything is left in the home, you live in Colorado as a son or a daughter, and you can't get there, and the auction buyer bids on your house and wins it, and then goes in and changes the locks on the door and steals everything out of the house, what I call theft, which really the legal term is conversion. Okay, if they enter the home and take your relative stuff, they've converted that stuff, or in terms you would understand, they've stolen it or they've converted it. Okay, in most states, there is a law that allows us to sue for conversion on your behalf. So once we get you appointed as the administrator of the estate, we can then go in and sue the person who took your property from you and get you paid back. Also, that comes with treble damages or punitive damages. So if they stole $25,000 worth of furniture and the state has a treble damages clause, we can get you 3 times that amount. Or in other words, $25,000 of furniture was stolen, we can get you $75,000 to $100,000 back, $75,000 to $100,000 back for the conversion of your property. Okay, but that's getting a little deep. So Prince, you can take the conversion part out. I'll have a discussion on that one. But at the end of the day, you as an heir have options, and we can show you what those options are. And it gets pretty exciting when we can help you get the house back, or get money out of that house, or get money through conversion, or get money through insurance settlement. So if you are someone who has lost the home and your parents are heirs, you are the heir of your parents' asset, we can help. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye. Or thanks for listening. Give us a call now. We can help. Okay, so that's it for that video. Okay, so let's go into conversion. That's the next segment I'm going to get you guys. Okay, so if someone, hello today, hope you guys are doing well. Let's talk about things you can do. I don't want to do that. That's not my opening. Okay, so let's talk about conversion of personal property. Okay, conversion of personal property is when someone comes into your home and you're a tenant or an at-will tenant, or you've lost your house to foreclosure sale, and someone breaks into your home before they have a deed or a writ of execution or some order from the court, and they go in and they change the lock on your door and they steal your personal property. Okay? We call that, I call it theft, but the attorneys call that conversion, which is the civil term of theft. Once again, everything I talk about today, I'm not an attorney. I'm giving you my opinion, and that's all it is. Or I'm giving you the information that I know from what I've seen attorneys do for me or others in your situation. So if you need legal advice, get it. We have attorneys that can help you, that we can refer you to, or you can get your own personal attorney. I'm going to explain the topic today about my opinion of what conversion is. So basically what conversion is let's say you have someone who dies, they get taken from the house, the heirs are long distance, can't get back to the house, and there's a car sitting in the driveway, and the house is fully furnished. A bidder wins your house at foreclosure sale, walks in and changes the locks out, takes all your stuff out, throws it in a dumpster, or sells it off or keeps it. At the end of the day, they take the personal property of the decedent, the person who died, your father, as an example, and they've stolen that or converted that that personal property. The other term is that the house is called real property, and your furniture or your belongings is called personal property. Good example I've always heard of this is if you have a carrot that's growing in the ground. I heard an attorney tell me this once. If a carrot is growing in the ground, it's considered real property. It is part of the real estate. But if you walk by and you pull that carrot out of the ground and put it on the ground, now it becomes personal property because it's no longer attached to the real estate. So real property is the actual property itself and the carrot that's growing in that property. But once that carrot comes out and it's laid on the ground, then it shifts to being personal property. Okay? And so for what we're looking for, furniture, jewelry, money, driver's licenses, vehicles, horses, livestock, anything that you have that you own that's considered personal property. If a foreclosure buyer comes in and breaks into your house or comes into your house without using the proper legal methods, and they take that stuff out of your home and disseminate it or get rid of it, that is called conversion. Okay? And when someone converts your property, there are remedies. So the remedy to that is we're going to go in and sue that bidder or that person who entered into your house wrongfully, and we're going to sue them for conversion and get your money back for you. Guys, this is Craig Brooksby. You can know me as someone who's constantly suing or being sued. I win lots of cases and I lose some. So if you're looking for someone to help you because of conversion, we have on-staff attorneys, we have contract attorneys that can help you and us get through that conversion process and make you money and make you whole or pay you back for what they did to you by converting your personal property. Give us a call, we can help. Thanks. Bye-bye. So I've done bankruptcies, conversion, I've done estates. Those are some pretty good videos, right? I've lost him. He's sleeping. Are you listening to your book? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're not listening to me anymore, are you? Okay. All right. All right, so let's do a part 2 of estates. Okay, so this is part 1 is probate and estates and foreclosure. So that's that other video I did. This one is going to be on more complex heirship situations, or when your father, you're the son and your father has lost or has died, and you've lost the property. Okay, so this is part 2 of probate, estates, foreclosure, and heirs. And we're going to get into more of some of the complex things here. So, hey guys, today we're going to talk about more complex situations dealing with estates and probates, and someone who's died where you may be an heir, but there's dysfunction in the family, there's anger in the family, there is problems, and everyone doesn't like each other, or you can't get a hold of someone, where the estate becomes a much bigger issue. One of the things we run into is a lot of times we will run into times when people lose their house to foreclosure sale and there is discord in the family. Okay, I saw a situation a couple years ago where one of the brothers moved in with the mother. She owned the home. He got her to deed half of the home to her. So she owned 50% and he owned 50%. And the other brothers and sisters got mad at him because they think that he went in and bamboozled the mother and got her in her weakest hour, which could be elder abuse, by the way, and ended up taking control of that home. Okay. This is a very common scenario we see out there where brothers and sisters are fighting. I've seen it in my own personal life where we've had a piece of property, my father has died, and one of my sisters thinks it should be done this way, and the other brothers and sisters think it should be done this way. Okay? And so we get into these situations of probate where you have a situation where you want to settle the affairs of the estate, but everyone is fighting with each other. Okay? And so that's the problem that we're going to discuss, and we're going to talk about some of the things that occurs from, and then I'm going to give you guys some remedies at the end. So hang on to the end to be able to see those remedies, right? So in this particular case, when it comes to these types of scenarios, okay, let's go back to the example where the brother comes in and takes 50% of the estate with his mother, and they're on title together, and then the mother dies. And the other 4 children believe that something has gone wrong. Okay, first of all, we're going to look at that there is potentially elder abuse there. If the one brother went in and talked his mom into signing a will right on her deathbed, or something like this has happened where she signed over the house or given him the car, the critical thing there, whether you're on the side where you need to be protected because you did do it right, or you're on the side where you think that the person did it wrong, that's your relative, the critical thing there is, and once again, today what I'm going to tell you is my opinion. I'm not giving you legal advice. You need to go talk to an attorney to get that kind of advice. I'm giving you my opinion and what I've seen other people do. So in this particular case, if you get into a situation like that where a deed is transferred to one of the siblings, okay? This can happen fully legitimately. And the key is the state of mind in most states of the individual who is dying or who died, right? And so in a lot of states, there's a law that's called elder abuse. And what that deals with is someone who's being taken advantage of because they're not of their right mind. In the state of North Carolina, as an example, I believe that elder abuse can happen at the age of 60 years old or older. So anytime you're working with someone that's 60 years or older. So you may have a son who comes in and lives with his mother at the age of 60 years old or older, and the mother may not be of sound mind, and so the son comes in and talks the mother into deeding the property to him in part or in whole. That could be elder abuse, and that whole transaction could be undone, okay, because of the elder abuse. What it comes down to is the cognitive state or the mental state of the older person. I have a lady right now that I know that's a real estate broker in Texas, and she's 82 years old, and this woman is sharp as a tack. She's buying and selling real estate constantly. She's doing all kinds of things that are great, right? And she's on her game. So even though she's well above the age of 60, This lady is a spring chicken, as spry as a spring chicken, and she has all of her appurtenances to her. She can function well. Okay, if she goes in and transfer an asset to her son, and she has full state of mind, that transaction in most states is going to be okay. Now, there may be an age requirement that would disallow it or something else, but what you get the idea, we're looking at state of mind of the individual, correct? So what are they doing there and what's that state of mind? Okay, so if you're the 4 children who think that the guy your brother took advantage of the mother, but your mother was a full state of mind and the age is acceptable within the parameters of the law, and she transferred it to him because she liked him better, or she knew he was going to be the one to take care of her until she passed away, then he may very well be entitled to the half that he got. Okay? On the other hand, if you're on the 4 side, the 4 brothers and sisters side, and he came in and took advantage of her because there was a violation of the law, then that can be undone. So that's the remedy, and a lot of times that's what we do is when we see someone who's lost a house to foreclosure sale, what we're going to do is we're going to go remedy that situation by getting the attorneys involved, checking to see what the state of mind is, and then if the attorneys or someone in our business is representing you, then we're going to help you work through that because the person was a sound mind. Or if we're working with the heirs over here who say that person took advantage of them, we're going to find out whether they were of solid state of mind or not and if they met the requirements. Okay, this is often a situation where we can help you out, right? And so the answer to that question is we know the laws, we know how to protect you whether you're the son or the daughter who got that percentage of the asset, and we also know how to represent and help you if you're the children who are taken advantage of, or you believe you were taken advantage of, or you weren't and you just need to settle out the affairs of the state. Okay, this is a common problem we see where there's a transfer of the asset over to one of the heirs. And if that occurs, that's what you got to do. Now, moving on from that, give us a call, by the way, on any kind of questions you have on that. Basically, moving on from that, you may just simply have a son who lived with a mother, never got a percentage of the deed, and has helped that person all the way through the last parts of their death. And because of that, that son will in actuality be the one who took care of that relative, right? You're the person who you love that died, right? And so in that case, sometimes he may not own anything, but there may be a will where the mother agreed to give him 50% and the other brothers and sisters each 10%, or whatever the case may be. In these types of situations, we can help. There are answers, there are remedies, there are ways to do it. We've even got into situations where we can do partition actions, and we'll talk about those a little as well. You done?
Yep.
How'd it go?
They ended up having a second meeting they invited me to.
I will let you have the couch, for it is more comfortable than the bucket.
You were sitting on a bucket?
It was fine.
Okay.
I offered him 2 broken chairs.
You offered him 2 broken chairs? Okay, so getting back to that, in this particular example, any kind of dysfunction or disaccord or disagreement or agreement in these types of situations, we have answers to help you. One of those is a partition action. We can go in and we can file a partition, have the attorney file a partition action that basically gives everyone a vote. And the property is sold and the money is split. So that's one of the answers to that remedy, right? Is that we can partition the property. Sometimes we can go in and we can negotiate with the 4 brothers and sisters and see what they'll buy out for, because you may want to buy that home back and keep mom or dad's home, right? And so we can negotiate with the 4 people that are mad at you or that don't get along with you, because we can be that white stallion, right? So we may even be able to have an investor who funds you the money to be able to go in and buy that home back from your heirs. And then that investor or us, we will work out some type of financial transaction to where it's beneficial to you and to us, to where you get that home. Or any one of those things we can do. If you're an heir to the estate, you've lost that property, you have brothers and sisters, and you're all trying to find a resolution. So number one, we have money, we have investors that do this all the time, we have the attorneys, we have the staff. This is the kind of work we do all day long. We can help you in your estate. Give us a call. Okay. I've hit a lot of topics here. I've been rolling today.
It's good that you have something that you can share your expertise, where they don't hear a lot of that sort of thing. I don't think this is a new subject, right?
Yeah, because and the other thing is it's not necessarily out on the public domain as much. Like, people from YouTube aren't going to go look at this, right? So it can be out there. The competitors might look at it at some point, but right now Greenlight is owned by David Ginn, and Samuel is owned by Sonia, right? And most of what you give them is kind of gives more questions, so they're going to call to get it. And the competition probably isn't going to know how to do it all.
And did you say that some of the people going out there, they can reference the YouTube site so they know that?
Oh, all of these videos, I've done a lot while you've been done. I've done one on Chapter 13 bankruptcy, 11 and 7. I've done one on if you were too late on the payment of filing the bankruptcy. I've done one on if you didn't pay the bank in time. I've done one on where you can sue the bank if there was a wrongful foreclosure and how to deal with the banks. I've done one on heirs and kind of what the priority of how to set up an estate, and if your father dies, who it goes to, and how to remedy that, and how to open that probate and get that done. And I've done another video on what happens if everyone's fighting with each other, in the estate. Mm-hmm. That's actually a video that everyone can watch, because a lot of times when people die, everyone fights over the money. Mm-hmm. So that's a good one. So I've done one on that. Let's see, maybe I'll just do 1 or 2 more and I'll be done. Okay, so the topic we're going to talk about today is partitioning of real estate. Okay, and what the discussion I'm going to go over with you is, let's say in the case, once again, an example of you have a father or mother who's died. There's 3 children, and none of the children are getting along. And so, what do we do now? Okay, that's kind of that situation. And the home has been lost to foreclosure, or maybe you're not even in a situation where a house is in foreclosure and you're watching this video because you just want to know what happens in an estate, right? So you can do what's called a partition action in most states. And by the way, as I discuss this partition action today, everything I tell you is not going to be, I'm not an attorney, I'm giving you my opinion. Things can vary state to state. So when you listen to me, what you're going to get is kind of my opinion of a general idea of what happens. If you need legal advice, go seek the counsel of an attorney. I'm not an attorney, so I'm just going to talk openly about what my opinion is. I'm not here to give you legal advice. So with that disclosure, what I am going to tell you is at the end of this video, what I'm going to do is give you some answers about partition actions and maybe how they can be favorable to you in your particular position. So first, let's get into what a partition action is. And what that is basically if you have 3 children, as an example, a mother and father has died and they're all feuding, or they don't want to have anything to do with this property and they just want to get it sold. Okay, so in the law, usually there is a law in your state that says that the 3 heirs of the estate can come in and file for a partition action. What this means is that you're going to take that asset and get it sold and then distribute the funds. You could also have a situation where you're going to take that asset and then you're going to buy it out and put it in a new LLC so that all three of you can own it together. Or you're going to take that asset and or that home, and you're actually going to have one son or daughter who wants to keep it, and he's going to buy out the rest of the other two. Okay, now partition actions vary state from state. So state to state, and you can be in unison together and you do a partition action, or you can actually be adversarial to each other and do a partition action. But the goal is to get the asset disseminated so that it doesn't create a lot of frustration amongst the heirs, or it's simply what you have to do to liquidate the estate. So in a partition action, there are many types of partitions, so I'm going to kind of go through a little bit of those so you can see it as an example. In the state of North Carolina, if you file a partition action, that means that you can that it's going to go into the control of the courts usually, and what they're going to do is they're going to allow you to make an offer on that estate, and then once you make an offer on that estate, then they're going to send it to sale, and once it goes to sale, then they're going to allow the bidding process to go forward in the state. And in the state of North Carolina, there are bidding processes. I'm not going to educate you on bidding at foreclosure sale, but just generally speaking, there's a process where you can go and bid on the property. People can bid on that estate and buy it and take it over. Okay? And so with the probate in that particular case in the state of North Carolina, you could go make an offer on that property to buy it back as one of the heirs. But if someone comes in and outbids you and gets they can take that property away from the estate. Okay, and so generally speaking, I'm not here to talk to you about bidding at foreclosure sale. I'm here to tell you that that's the process that you would go through. And so in North Carolina, with the partition action and it going to an auction, you have the chance that you could lose that home, or on the other hand, you may be able to buy that home out for less than what was owed. Okay, and so I'm going to give you the remedy to that in a second here. Okay, another way this happens is in the state of Texas, they actually turn the asset over to the courts, and the courts hire the real estate agents and the people necessary to get the property sold. So it will go under the purview of an attorney who's been assigned to administer that estate. They may call him a guardian ad litem, or it may just be someone who's been assigned to be a trustee. I'm not going to get into the legal terms other than to say there's someone that's assigned to manage the affairs of that real estate. And then what they're going to do is hire a real estate agent who's a professional in the industry, and that person's going to get paid a real estate fee to go in and get your property sold. And once it's sold, then they're going to redistribute the funds. Okay, so there's two examples in two different states of how it kind of goes. Okay, so when you get in these positions where you're partitioning property, it can be because there's an adversarial position between the heirs, and so the only way to get it done is to do a partition action, right? And so what I will tell you is that at the end of this is there are strategies. If you are our client and you come to us and you say, listen, I lost my house to foreclosure sale, I want to get it back, I want to sue the bank for wrongful foreclosure, and in the end I want to get this house back, okay, there's all types of strategies that you can use. So let me give you a few of these, and these are just general, they're not all of them, and by the way, you need to seek the advice of an attorney in order to get proper legal advice as to how to do these. So once again, I'm just going to talk generally to you here. But in the state of North Carolina, as an example, if you are the heir, we can come in and do a partition action and let that property go to sell for $1. And if no one else bids on it and you bid on it, you just won that property and now you're going to own it. And your heirs are going to no longer own it, and they're going to split that $1, and that's what they get from the estate. Now, that's a dramatic example. Obviously, because there's a bid process in the state, that price is probably going to go up. But as a little nugget in North Carolina, that bidding process could disadvantage you because it could bid higher, or it could advantage you because at the end of the day, you go and buy that property. Okay, and in this case, we're not talking a foreclosure sale, although it's ran a lot like it. We're talking about an estate, a piece of property in probate that goes through a similar legal process. Okay, so that's the nugget right there that can work for you, against you. That process of selling that real estate through an auction can cost you more, or you may be able to buy it for less. Okay, in the state of Texas, that one's a little different, and the reason why is because if you turn everything over to, so here's your answer, right? If you turn everything over to the attorneys to manage your affairs, let me just tell you something. Attorneys are not real estate agents. Their goal is to get the asset liquidated so they can make a percentage of it. And they don't really care whether you get highest value, because they don't even know how to get it for you. And the other thing is the real estate agent that attorney hires is in it for the money too, so they'd rather sell it quickly and make a few bucks than wait longer to get more or to renovate it or whatever. So I'm going to give you a caution in Texas. Be very careful whether you partition a property in Texas, because the attorney that ends up managing that case and the real estate agent that might sell that property may not operate in your best interest, although that's what they're required to do. And by the way, if they don't operate in your best business interest, there is a chance to sue the attorney or the real estate agent for doing that. But that's not for today's discussion. Okay, so at the end of the day, the nugget in Texas is be cautious on a partition action, because you may be putting that property in the hands of people that will not do what's best for you. I see this all the time. Okay, folks, so that's it. Make sure that you understand that one of your options is a partition action. We can help. Give us a call. Thanks. Bye-bye. Thoughts on that?
Be interesting to, well, it'll be interesting to see, since it's going to be new information out there on YouTube, how many people might be interested in it. But also, bare minimum, people who are, the teams that are going out to the doors and trying to work with people, they can reference. They don't have to be super knowledgeable. They can say, here's an example of the knowledge that we have. Go to this YouTube channel and watch these videos, and they could feel almost immediately like this is a good place to go look for a solution to my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be difficult for each individual to convince somebody. It would be better to have, here's the authority, or, somebody who can kind of represent the company.
Yeah, I think this is huge from the perspective of when I go to a door and knock and they say I have it covered, I can say to them, listen, I have a list of about 10 videos that you can watch. No pressure from me. If you want, I can write your number down and text you, and then you'll have my number and I'll have yours, and then I can send you these videos and you can watch them in the privacy of your own home, and then pick up the phone and give us a call. We know you got it covered. Here's some ways that it can help you, and bam, you're off their porch. Now when you're off their porch, I can also text them this video. So now when we go to text them after they lost their house to foreclosure sale, here's a video. Here's a video.
Yeah.
And so I can hit them with videos on all the texts. I can email them the videos, and now that gets us in, because although they didn't hear me, now I'm in the door through the video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, guys, so let's say that you have, in this particular video, what we're going to talk about is you've got it covered. So someone from the company comes and knocks on your door, and you've got it covered. So you look at them, you don't know them from Adam, you don't know if they're a fake or a scam or a fraud, First of all, let me just set the record straight for you and help you to know who we are and who our company is. We're in the business of helping people who have already lost their homes to foreclosure sale and are looking for answers. Okay, but we know that you may be in a position where you don't think you lost your house to foreclosure sale, or you think you've got it covered. Okay, so let me give you a few of the you got it covered things that we hear and see all the time where you don't really have it covered. Number one, we knock on the door and you say, I'm working with my real estate agent and the bank. Okay, first of all, most real estate agents don't know jack about foreclosure. It's not their area of expertise. So once again, I'm going to start this video by telling you, I'm going to explain to you the problems, and then at the end of the video, what I'm going to do is give you the resolution to those problems, right? So hang in there with the whole video because you need to get the answers to the resolution that you're needing. Okay, so one of them may be, my real estate agent is helping you. Guys, I'm just going to tell you, I've been in the foreclosure markets for years. I've done short sales, modifications. I've bought at foreclosure sale, and I've helped people sued for wrongful foreclosure. I see all sides of the equation here, and I'm constantly suing and being sued. That's my business, and know that I smile. Know that as I smile as I give you that, because that's the bailiwick we're in. That's our niche market. That's the lane we're in, right? And so we're here to help you take back that control, right? So you've got it covered. The other thing is I'm not going to give you legal advice. Talk to your attorney for that. This is my opinion. Okay, so let's move on and get going forward here. So you say, I've got it covered. Well, if you say that you've got it covered because you have a real estate agent, that's not an option. Real estate agents don't know what to do in foreclosure sale. And if you've lost your house to foreclosure sale, they don't know what to do. Okay, so they are not your best remedy. I've been sued in federal court. I've been sued in federal court. I've been sued in state courts. I lost a federal case where I was sued for extortion and bid rigging. Okay, and I got slapped with a $1.2 million judgment from the judge and got a judgment against me. I know that part of the business. I know the attorneys in the law and what they do. I've sat in front of a jury. I've sat in front of courts, bench trials with attorneys. I see this day in and day out. Your real estate agent cannot help you properly. Do not rely upon them. Stop. Warning. No. Real estate agents don't know. Okay? The other thing I hear is they say, I've got an attorney that's helping you. Guess what? I know people who have attorneys that help them, and I saw 2 of them this last week that lost their houses, and the attorney advised them to go file foreclosure, and they didn't file it in time. You may even think that you have an attorney that can help you. Let me tell you something. There are many attorneys out there that think they think they know what they're doing, and they don't. They make all kinds of mistakes. Attorneys are human. So if you have a family attorney and you think he's going to solve your problem, or he's a bankruptcy attorney and he's going to solve your problem, in most, if not all cases, these guys don't even know what they're doing. The person you're talking to right now and listening on this video has been through all of the litigation, eviction, foreclosure, jury trials, bench trials, modifications, short sales. I've seen every kind of lawsuit you can imagine. On wrongful foreclosure, constitutional foreclosure, notice of foreclosure sales. All of these things, I've seen it, and my back-end team and staff have done it for decades. Okay, this is our niche market. If you think your attorney has it handled, the odds are he does or she does not, and we can help you in ways that he can't or she can't help you. Okay, we bid and bought at foreclosure sales. We've seen houses go to foreclosure and short sales and modifications. We've helped people that have sued for wrongful foreclosure and wrongful eviction, and for banks or bidders or people who have taken advantage of them. So we have this market covered. So you may say you think you've got it covered and you just lost your home anyways. I see this all the time. It's rampant out there. So you think your real estate agent has it covered and your attorney has it covered. But no, wait, there's more. That's not all people tell us that they think have it covered. The other thing you say is, I'm working with my bank and we've got it solved. That's a really good one. My bank and my attorney and my real estate agent are all helping me in my problem, but I'm standing here on the other side because I lost my house to foreclosure sale. You do not have it covered if this is where you stand. Okay? You've got to listen to me. So at the end of the day, if that's where you at, or it's anything like this where you're relying upon the advice of your real estate agent or your attorney or the bank, they're probably giving you wrong information. Attorneys make money because they file bankruptcy for you. That may not be your best option. Real estate agents make money because they sell their home for you, and if they lost it to foreclosure sale, they didn't do a good job to begin with. Right? And the bank's goal is to get their money back and get paid. They don't represent you, and they do not have your best interest at heart. So, when you tell me you have it covered, you probably don't. So let's talk about the remedies to those situations. Okay, number one, I can't tell you how many times the bank has said that they have you covered. I had a guy the other day that lost his house to foreclosure sale, and the bank sent him an email on the day of his foreclosure sale asking him for more documents to do a modification. We're going to sue that bank for you. That's our business. So that's your nugget at the end of the video, right? We know the remedies to when the bank messes up. It's better if we work with them before, but at the end of the day, or that attorney works with you before, but we're meeting you after it's all happened, right? So in this particular case, your bank's best interest is theirs, not yours. That's one example of many, right? It could be that you communicated with them and that they told you that they were not going to let it go to foreclosure sale, so you thought, and they foreclosed on you anyways. Go call the bank, find out it went to foreclosure sale, because the minute you realize you've lost your home, you're going to need to pick up the phone and call us so that we can get you to the attorneys or people that work for the company. Straight up, you don't have it covered if there's a bank involved in most cases. They're going to tell you they're going to modify it. I've seen many people who have lost their house after they said they were going to modify it. Keep in mind that the bank will probably tell you they're going to help you, but they will not make ironclad commitments to say, we are going to keep you in the house and your house will not go to foreclosure sale. I've had people even pay the loan current and the bank still foreclosed on them. So when you say you got it covered, I had a person the other day that lost their house to foreclosure sale, and the bidder bought it and won it, and he's got a deed, right? And the bank got paid, and now what they're trying to do is send that payment back to my client, right? Okay, and when I say me, I'm talking to someone in the company once again. This is what the company does, right? So in this case, your bank does not have you covered. Okay. Secondly, if you think your attorney has you covered, he better be able to have done. He better be the type of attorney that's done numerous foreclosure sales, knows the process of services, has done multiple bankruptcy filings, is in the bankruptcy industry. It's got to be an attorney that's been to foreclosure sales, worked with evictions, worked with bankruptcies, and it's not just something they've done a few of. This is their business. I have attorneys that currently work for me that are well above 50 years old and they've done this for decades. That's the type of experience you need. And most attorneys do not have that type of foreclosure, eviction, wrongful foreclosure experience, excess surplus funds experience. Okay, so it's critical that you understand that your attorney may not have you covered. Not at all, right? So that's the part of the attorney. You need someone that's in this lane, that's in this niche, that's in this market, or they're going to miss it somewhere. There's a big yellow sign up in Texas there where there's an attorney that says, I sue other attorneys, right? And that's his business. I'll bet you anything that guy makes a lot of money because there's a lot of attorneys out there that commit malpractice, right? So they can be sued. Okay. Not that we sue attorneys as a general practice. It can happen, or there may be time where that needs to happen, but at the end of the day, your attorney may not be your right answer. The last thing is you say your real estate agent is. Okay, so what's the remedy for that? So with an attorney who doesn't do it right, the remedy is we may have to go in and undo that transaction through some kind of strategy. And if the real estate agent says they can help you, the odds are high they can't. So the nugget in the end is we understand real estate agents who don't know what they're doing. We understand attorneys that don't know what they're doing. And we understand that banks don't know what they're doing. And any of these may not have your best interest at heart. We understand the strategies on how to navigate to get you out of the situation you're in. If you think you've got it covered, call us. We can help. Thanks. That sound okay?
Yeah, good energy and good flow.
Do you want to go get lunch? Or do you got to leave?
I have to leave at 3, so we probably...
I've actually got to head your way. I'm going to Clinton.
Alright,
I got to go to Warren's Automotive.
is that out there?
Yeah, Warren's is out in Clinton.
Cool.
Hey, Rex? Did Rex leave and go somewhere?
Yeah,
You want to go get lunch?
sure.
Let's go. I need you to get those up as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
Because that's money in those videos. I've been wanting to get the